everyone, hi friends. You might have noticed that I've been doing a challenge for myself called Witchwinter that has been going on since the end of October. So I thought I would come on here and talk a little bit about the journey and what gave me the idea and what has inspired me. If you haven't followed, I just want to show you the very first illustration I did of Willow the Witch. It actually all started back in the beginning of October, where I was really feeling like I want to go back to painting like with real watercolor and where I can feel the texture of the paper, and I wanted to go back to making mistakes and not being able to erase them as easily as you can do when you paint digitally. So I thought, what should I do for myself? And at the same time, I was doing this very intense business course. I had planned for it to start after this course had ended, which was at the end of October. I thought, should I do the Inktober challenge, which is a 31-day challenge going on in all of October, which is very popular on social media. But at the end, I thought I will make it easier for myself, and I also want to do something where I just enjoy it and I don't rush to do an ink drawing each day, because I had been doing the Inktober challenge a few times before. There was one year where I did all 31 drawings and it was so exhausting. I know a lot of you out there have probably done the same. And to all my fellow artist friends, you know how exhausting it is. So I thought, no, I don't want to do that. But I want to do something that is really well done, and where I have a character running through the whole the whole thing, like a little story with a little character. So I came up with the idea of doing a witch, which was also inspired by another October challenge called Witchtober. I found some prompts and mashed them all together and did my own little list, which ended up being 14 prompts. I was so optimistic that I thought I could do this in a month if I just had a few days with rest. That was very optimistic of me, but that was because I really wanted to do it properly and to really make some really nice illustrations with beautiful watercolors and really get into the story with this character. One day when I was taking a walk in the forest, it was beautiful autumn. There was like all these yellow, orange, red colors everywhere mixed with the green and the blue sky. I just thought, oh, I really want to do something inspired by the forest and all the beautiful colors. That's where some of the inspiration came from. And then another inspiration was also my love of the Swedish writer Astrid Lindgren and her beautiful book Ronja the Robber's Daughter. That is definitely one of my favorite books of all time. And then lastly, one of my inspirations, my big inspirations, are Tilde, my bunny. Yeah, so Tilde was definitely also a big part of my inspiration, because I love bunnies, and that's why the witch, which I'm gonna show you a little more of now, that's why her familiar is also a grey bunny. Right, so I just want to go through all the illustrations, just talk shortly about their individual stories. This was the very first one. I did this drawing and then I asked on Instagram what her name should be, and there were lots of good suggestions. But I ended up choosing Willow, which was actually a suggestion from my mom. Maybe it's also because I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was younger, and there was a witch there called Willow as well. But I really liked the name. This was the first one, and the colors just came to me quite naturally, again because I was inspired by the autumn and everything in the forest as well, the big mushrooms and the plants. This is The second one called A Familiar. This is Willow with her bunny. And I also asked on Instagram what the bunny's name should be. And there were some really sweet suggestions too. Someone suggested George, and I just thought it was such a fun name for a bunny because it was not something I had heard before. So yeah, his name ended up being George. So the third one is called A Cauldron. One, I thought it would be really fun to show the size difference from the forest. Like there's a big tree behind her and these big mushrooms, but still she has this tiny cauldron, and she has gathered some like wooden sticks, I guess it must be for real size humans, for her little bonfire here. This is the fourth, called Home. I really wanted to show her being part of nature, like using nature as her home, because she is this witch that lives in nature and really is part of it all the time and has like everything she needs there from the nature. And as you can see, her bunny is too big to sleep with her in the house, so he has a little, I imagine he has a little nest or a little place where he can go and sleep. So this is the fifth one, called Plants and Ingredients. Yeah, this is just really basically inspired by some of the plants I had seen in the forest. Also some plants I had looked at on Pinterest, I think. This is the sixth illustration, called Workplace. I really wanted to show like a witch's workplace with a lot of books, some plants, herbs, and a little moon calendar, teapot, of course, a little list of the autumn colors, because she's inside and she uses the nature as her, like as part of her home also, so it's a bit more the brown colors. This one is called Forest Friends. I thought it would be really fun if they were friends with a fox. I kind of imagined that this fox, she has kind of made an agreement with him that he can't eat her bunny. This is the ninth illustration, ninth, called Magic. This is kind of like how she uses her magic to help the forest to make it grow and really like enhance the strength that is already there in nature, but she just uses her magic to make it even wilder and bigger and more powerful. This one is called A Familiar, just because I wanted to draw the bunny again. I chose the prompt 2 times. Yeah, so again, it's just to show Willow and her interaction with her friend George. And I also imagine that she sometimes goes riding on him since he's so big. This is kind of interesting. I think I will take this one to show as a comparison, because I started with this one for the prompt Witch Library, but I was really not happy with how I drew her eyes and her whole face. I think she became a bit too out of proportion. That's just me with my animation background, that all things have to look the same. When I draw a character, it has to look the same all the time. So I actually ditched it for a while, and then I drew this one instead. And I was much happier with this one. I really like that we see that it's inside her home and that it's really dark. It's kind of darker than some of the other illustrations, but I really like that. And we're just seeing her having a cozy time with her books. But actually, in the end, I ended up liking this one. This one is called Mushroom. This was inspired by the forest, of course, but also like from some really beautiful mushrooms I found on Pinterest. I'm a Pinterest person. and I really thought, wow, it's so cool that they're just pink and kind of purple. And I really wanted to draw those in one of these illustrations. So yeah. And that makes, I think it also makes the color scheme a little different from the other ones. This one is called Witch Friend. And I really wanted to introduce a friend. Her friend is called Maple, again because they both have 3 names. George is there. I imagine that Maple has a bunny too, but there wasn't so much room on the on the paper. It's like A5. So if I wanted all the things there, I should have drawn it a bit smaller. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with the Witchwinters. I have really enjoyed making them. My plans for the Witchwinters are for now to sell the originals. I think they deserve to be spread out to loving homes. Then I think that at some point I'm probably gonna make them into a little book with a short story for each illustration. Probably in the long run I'm gonna do some nice giclée archival prints as well. I'm really happy to be finished because as much as I have enjoyed doing this, I also really am looking forward to moving on to some new projects. But I'm sending Willow off, her familiar and the forest. I'm sending it all off with much love and a lot of gratitude to all of you for liking and being there with me on the journey. And a big thanks to those of you who have already bought some of the originals. I can't wait to see them hanging in your homes. That's it for now. Thank you so much again, and I wish you a lovely, lovely day.